All right. Jesse on fire with a massive breaking story and a lot of relevant information that I doubt you're going to hear many other places, because I'm going to explain to you how this got done, given that we all know Conor's contract situation, which is that he's under contract with the UFC, obviously, which would preclude him from participating in a boxing match against Logan Paul, right? But it's confirmed. This is happening. This fight is happening, and they're making $250 million each. Okay? $250 million each. All right? Now, I am going to also, there's actually a lot of layers to this. It's not just Conor's fighting Logan. Conor's fighting Logan, zippity doo-dah. Talk about the fight. We're going to talk about why this happened. Why they're putting this fight on specifically, why they're paying so much, how Conor got out of his UFC contract, how he's able to fight while under UFC contract. Okay. We're also going to talk about Jake, who seemingly got completely effed out of this deal. Okay. Conor was being called up by Jake. You know what I mean? Like, this was Jake's fight. And Logan got it. And it's a $250 million payday. Okay? Like Jake Paul, let's look at like Jake Paul, Conor McGregor call out. Okay, this is how this started. All right?
What the fuck is up, you Irish cunt? Good morning, Conor McGregor. I know you're probably beating up old dudes in a bar right now, or maybe you're jacking off because you're sick of fucking your wife. I mean, she's a 4, Conor. You could do a lot better, but happy Monday. My team sent you a $50 million offer this morning. $50 million cash, proof of funds, the biggest fight offer you've ever been offered, but you're scared to fight me, Conor. You're ducking me because you don't want to lose to a fucking YouTuber. You're 0-1 as a boxer. I'm 2-0 as a boxer. I just came off the 8th biggest pay-per-view event in history, but you want to fight Dustin Prober, who has less followers on Instagram than my fucking dog. That's a fact. And Dana White, you're a fucking pussy too, you ugly fucking bald bitch. You said there's 0% chance of this fight happening, but there's 0% chance of you getting some fucking pussy. Conor, you're scared. Dana, you're scared. Sign the fucking contract, you idiots. Jesus fucking Christ. Irish bitch.
First of all, let's say what we're all thinking right now if we understand the fight business. That guy is a goddamn genius, okay? Jake Paul is a genius when it comes to fight. And think about that. That was 4 years ago. Yeah, when I watched that the first time, I'm like, what is he doing? Like, what is he doing? There is no scenario in a billion years where you fight Conor and Conor would knock all the teeth out of your head. And look at now, dude. Look at now. Like, people think that when I make predictions and get them wrong, that I'm at home like, shit. Oh my God. I said Tyson was going to beat Jake and I didn't realize that it was fixed. Oh. I always admit when I'm wrong. And on that one, I was dead wrong. And Jake Paul proved me wrong because he literally is, I don't know, top 3 biggest stars in boxing right now in terms of his ability to draw numbers, which is kind of crazy as it relates to the state of boxing. But I think it's pretty clear which of the Paul brothers was supposed to fight Conor McGregor, right? How does Logan get this fight? Now, I will say, I'm going to oh, wait, I'm sorry. I missed the super chat. Yuzefa, what's up, dude? Yes, it is. Look, dude, that's why I'm keeping it on the screen. It's everywhere. Conor McGregor, Logan Paul are to feature as part of a historic Visit India tourism campaign as the player clash in Mumbai's iconic Wakande Stadium. They will be well rewarded, making $250 million each for the fight. Okay, so now that's me, just to get let people get on before I start making the points that actually matter. Okay. So number one, okay. How does this fight happen in the first place, given that Conor's under contract? Extraordinarily simple. And that is the UFC is getting paid an astronomical amount of money to allow Conor to do this fight. That's the only plausible scenario, because Conor cannot participate in this absent the UFC greenlighting it, because he's under contract. And as much as Dana is friends with Conor, and Conor hits up Dana, he's like, my entire income just went to zero. My entire thing went to zero. And, I need this money. Like, I need this money bad. The likelihood that Dana's just going to be like, well, I understand your personal problems that were caused by this, case that I believe you that you didn't do it, but am I going to let you out of the contract because I'm your friend and you spend money like a lunatic and I want to make sure that you're okay? Of course not, dude. Of course not. What just happened? Oh, if they're spending $250 million each on Conor and Logan Paul, okay, Conor is kicking $100 million minimum of that to Dana, if not more. Or the UFC has a separate deal with the promoters, and the UFC is getting 9 figures on this deal, absolutely, for sure. And let me tell you something else about that. Okay, I'll tell you something else about that. The fact that this is happening at all shows the level of confidence that the UFC has in Conor's likelihood of success when he comes back to UFC. Okay, because if they thought there was a high likelihood that Conor was going to come back to UFC and make like a title run, I can't imagine that they do this, because Conor could lose this fight. Logan's huge. Logan is huge. Okay. Conor, if they fought in mixed martial arts, I mean, most likely Conor still whips his ass, probably just kicks his leg, whatever. But I'm just talking about, like, if you look at the way that Conor fights and why he's so good, it's all, like he says, precision beats speed. Timing beats speed, and precision beats power, but he slips punches by nothing. And then he comes back with he doesn't have a style that's going to be able to overcome a guy who is that much bigger than him and is a really, really good wrestler. I don't know. I don't even need to think about them in MMA, but in boxing, I don't know. How does Conor, it's just a massive size difference, right? So if the UFC has to think to themselves like, dude, Conor might lose this fight, they're not giving him up for less than an absolutely enormous amount of money. Now, so, oh shit, sorry. Uzefa, I'm completely in shock. I thought there was no way UFC would ever allow, because Conor can definitely lose. That could hurt the brand. Exactly. Well, yeah, sorry. I just talked about that. I didn't even see it. Am I going? I am fucking definitely not going to India to watch a fight. No. And the odds of a knockout are 0. That would be listen, who knows, dude, right? Who knows? I definitely did not anticipate Mike Tyson and Jake Paul being a sparring match that they, promoted as a real fight. So who knows? Who knows? For $250 million, honestly, for $250 million in the contract, it could say, okay, in the first round, Conor, you're going to throw 48 punches. Logan, you're going to allow 44. Like literally, they could just script the entire thing, and these guys are going to be like, signed. $250 million. It's probably the biggest payday ever. And I know that people are going to want to tell me about how Floyd Mayweather made $400 million for the Pacquiao fight or whatever. Okay. First of all, I actually just don't believe any numbers that come out unless I could verify them. But I think that 400 number is probably what the entire thing made before they started paying people. I don't really know. But my guess is this is like, for independent guys that are getting contracted for a single fight, it's probably the most. Okay. So, no. See, this is not correct. This is not a cash grab. That's where I was going to go to right now. This is the opposite of a cash grab. Okay. This is the exact opposite of a cash grab. I'll tell you exactly what this is. Okay. So the people that are putting this on are, hang on. It's what's the name of that family, dude? Backed by the Indian royal family. Okay. Let me make that big. Backed by the Indian royal family. Okay. Why do you think they're doing this? Like, honestly, you guys can put in the chat, like, why is this happening? Somebody put it in the chat, and I will reward you by calling you very, very smart, because there is one correct answer. And I bet one of you guys is going to get it, because I have extraordinarily intelligent viewers. Attention is, I mean, I would get, like, if I was going to do 5 points for the correct answer, I would give that 1. Indian, no. Clickbait, money laundering, no. They like what the correct Robbie Clark. Except there's one more, there's one more kind of detail to that. It's a flex. Okay. What the Saudis are doing they're doing it big over there. They're not making money on those events. That's the whole thing is a flex, right? We could put on these enormous events. Doesn't matter, if we make money, but we could do this because we do this big. We have all the celebrities fly in. We're doing the thing. It's put on by the Saudi royals, and the Indian royal family are like, well, if they think they can do it big, India is just as powerful and rich. And so now the Indian royal family is paying each guy $250 million, and they got Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul. Like, that's just a big flex. There's no, I mean, if you think about, like, what fight could get, the only one that's bigger, I actually don't think it would be bigger. I was going to say, if they got John Jones against Francis Ngannou, like if they paid Dana enough to do the same thing with John and Francis, then I think, that would be similar. But I actually, in all honesty, as sad as this is, I don't think it would do as big in numbers as Conor versus Logan. And to be crystal clear, okay, if Francis Ngannou versus John Jones was on at the same time as Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul, and I found out anyone, and and everybody could only watch one, anyone who watched Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul over John Jones versus Francis, I would disown from my crew of, like, people I talk about combat sports to. I'd be like, hey, man, we can talk any other topics, right? I mean, we could talk about it, but your opinion no longer holds any weight whatsoever. You watched Conor versus Logan over Francis against John Jones. Like, that's a wrap for you, dude. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I mean, it's like, again, I would love to be a fly on the wall in Jake Paul's house right now, Now, I will say this. If Conor specifically chose Logan because he doesn't want to risk losing to Jake, actually, you know what, dude? You know what? I'm gonna hypothesize right now really quick, okay? I'm going to hypothesize really quick. I would bet, well, I wouldn't bet, but I would say there is a high likelihood that if the promoters and Conor would have brought a fight between Jake and Conor in the exact same thing, except Conor against Jake, that Dana would have said, no, do Logan. You can do this thing. I'll green light it. All the numbers are fine, right? All the other numbers are fine. Like, the numbers are fine. It can't be Jake. It has to be Logan. And for no other reason than because Logan is in a business partnership with the UFC, and Jake has made an enemy out of Dana. Now, I mean, you could say that ended up being a detriment to Jake, or you could say that that's part of the reason that he's gotten so big. Either way, Dana had for like, he could have just said no to this entire thing, and that's the end, right? So I would, if hypothesis, they were probably trying to do Jake versus Conor. Dana says no, and they say you can do Logan. Logan and Jake have to have a conversation about it. And Jake's cool, dude. He's not going to tell his brother not to take a $250 million payday that he can't have. You know what I mean? He's like, you can't have it. I can. Like, Jake, of course, is going to let Logan have that fight because Jake's cool. That's why I like him. But, this is, I don't know, dude. There's something repulsive to me as like a really serious combat sports fan, knowing that the two biggest events of 2024 and 2025 are Mike Tyson against Jake Paul and Logan Paul against Conor McGregor in exhibition boxing matches. I mean, obviously I'm going to watch them just like anybody else, but it just demonstrates that the idea that putting the two best fighters against each other is the best way to run a combat sports business is not correct, period. In terms of single one-off events, right? Like, the way UFC runs their business is the single greatest example of how you can maximize value in a combat sports organization. But I'm talking about if you're going to do one event, just one, and your options are two guys who have the most interest in them in the world and can tell a good story about whatever, and they're going to fight in some vastly inferior combat sport where you can only use your hands with big gloves on, versus the two biggest killers in the world in tiny little gloves. And they're allowed to kick, elbow, wrestle, jiu-jitsu, all that stuff. And you're going to make more money with the bongo gloves on and these two assholes who, I mean, Conor's obviously a real fighter, but hasn't fought in 3.5 years. And Logan Paul, who, I mean, obviously has fought, but like not really his thing. It's, I mean, that is bananas, dude. Look, I mean, $500 million. So these guys, by the end of this, will end up spending, who knows, to put this thing on, what they owe Dana. I mean, I don't think Logan has to pay anybody anything. So he probably just is getting that. And maybe Conor's getting it too. And then they're going to pay 100 to Dana and UFC. Because honestly, bottom line, every UFC fighter is just a commodity, man. As much as Dana has relationships with them, that's what I'm talking about. Like when I did the video where I was talking about Tom Aspinall, and I was saying, if you don't negotiate right this second, when you have the John Jones fight, if you don't try to get a new deal right now, you will not have this opportunity again. And I'm telling you that if Dana watched that video, would be like, he's right. I mean, he's not going to fucking call Tom, hey, come negotiate. But Dana's going to look, as a person who is a professional negotiator, he's going to look, that guy knows what he's talking about. Because it's all leverage, okay? But in this case, it comes down to numbers. Like, it just comes down to numbers because Conor has no leverage. And so why would Dana choose to do it? It's like, well, here's Conor's likely value in his UFC contract. If he loses, here's what it is. If he wins, maybe it goes up, right? So it's like, yeah, I can't see there being a better than 50-50 chance that Conor beats him, only because the size is so astronomical, the size difference. And Conor doesn't knock people out in boxing. Like if Conor was a huge boxing knockout, at least none that I've seen, if he had some nuclear overhand right, then I'd be like, yeah, he'll probably catch him. But oh man, I don't know. these guys, they're robbing the public. I don't understand that at all. How are they there's nobody robbing anything, dude. There's for every one person that rightfully pays for these fights, there are like 25 who steal it. And no one is forcing anyone to watch or buy anything. So it is definitely not stealing anything. I mean, again, does anyone have any doubt that there's going to be tremendous interest in this fight? Because that would be silly if you think that there won't. I completely understand. I totally understand. There hasn't been a good one. Like, there hasn't been a good one. There has not been a good exhibition boxing match. Now, the Conor versus Floyd, that fight was fun. That fight was super fun. However, that was a professional boxing match. The exhibitions are just ridiculous. Like, what's a good one? Name one good one. Tyson versus Jake was an exhibition where they're not trying to knock each other out. Floyd versus Logan, probably the same thing, you know? I mean, I'm trying to think. Oh, like Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson. They like straight up came out afterwards and they're like, yeah, we weren't allowed to punch as hard as we can to the head. You know? It's so anyway, I don't know, man. Hang on. Let me read, go up. Someone keeps quoting stuff. Hang on. No point as well as my statement. Who gives a fuck if they're more popular? They're both scum. I mean, oops. I think Conor's much faster than Jake. Logan, probably a better option. Yeah, I mean, faster. Conor's, it's not like the reason Conor's fast, but again, like the reason he's so nasty is because of his ability, like just straight up, like the thing that he does better than anyone, at least that I've ever seen him fight by a mile, is his ability to control distance when you're going straight forward and straight back. That's what Conor does better than anybody. And he's got that super long reach. And so he's got that like ropey way of being able, and he knows exactly where he's at. If you watch, like, I just showed this in another video. If you watch that Eddie Alvarez sequence when he knocked out Eddie Alvarez, Eddie Alvarez comes forward and Conor slips, and literally Eddie Alvarez's punches are ending within 3 millimeters of Conor's face. And Conor's like, whoop, bang, bang, and he's right back. His ability to control distance straight back and straight forward is absolutely unmatched, which is why when Khabib fought him, he circled the whole time. You never saw Khabib go straight forward, straight back at all. Khabib was never stationary and then like kind of, feinting to go forward and then back, or forward and then back, ever. He was circling, and then he would move, which is why Conor couldn't have success against him, aside from the fact, obviously, that Khabib is a tremendously better grappler and was getting a hold of him, but like, I don't anticipate. I can't, like, I'm not actually not even going to do it. I'm not comparing the Logan Paul Conor McGregor fight to the Khabib and Conor fight. That's not a thing I'm going to do. Conor hit Khabib a few times, not with anything that he was even, no one's going to say Conor had like a lot of success against Khabib. He won the third round that Khabib was resting, and that's what it was, Oh, you know what? I take that back. You're right. That was an exhibition. You're right, huh? Was Jake Paul versus Mike Perry? Was that an exhibition? If that was an exhibition, then I take back what I said. That was a very good fight. I like that fight a lot. The thing is like, everyone's going to watch it though. Like, it's just, believe me, I totally understand. This is not the same as the Tyson and Jake Paul thing though, only in that One of them's not 58 years old to where they have like a straight up reason that they're not going to punch each other hard in the head. I mean, who knows? Dude, honestly, I don't know what the rules in India are. I have no idea. In India, they could be like, okay, yeah. Like, why don't they do something, make it really interesting and fight like the end of Kickboxer? Like they get, they wrap their gloves and they dip them in glue and then put shards of glass on it. It's like, all right, dude, now I'm in. Now I am in, dude. Nate Diaz versus George Masvidal. Not flying punch. Hang on. I'm trying to look at some of these chats. What possible benefit would there be to Conor taking a dive? Like, the thing is, the reason why betting against Jake Paul is not a good financial move, regardless of what you think is going to happen in the fight. All of the incentive for the people who are backing the fight is behind Jake. I'm not accusing them of anything and saying that they've actually rigged a fight. I mean, it's, again, the Tyson fight, in my opinion, very clearly was an exhibition where they were very much like, you knock each other out, you don't get paid. And only one of them actually only has the threat of not getting paid, right? So like, if Tyson knocks out Jake, Jake's the one paying Mike, right? MVP Promotions is putting it on. So you got one guy who, if he knocks the other guy out, does not get paid. And then you got the other guy who's also not supposed to knock the guy out, but like, you know what I mean? He's the one holding the money. But in this one, it's the Indian royal family. Like, why would they care which one of these guys wins? Oops. Yeah, I mean, I've never met Conor in. Let me see how tall Conor. I think Conor's like 5'9". Yeah, Conor's 5'9". And Logan is 6'2". Damn. Logan's 6'2" and Conor's 5'9". I mean, that's not insurmountable, That's not insurmountable by a long shot. But he is a lot bigger, But 6'2", 5'9" boxing. Yeah, dude. I mean, Conor should win this fight, for the record. Like, Conor, as a matter of fact, Conor absolutely should win this fight. I keep forgetting that we're talking about Logan, not Jake. It's like, because Logan's like, he beat Dylan Dennis, but I'm doing the thing that I always make fun of people for doing, which is not thinking about the opponent. It's like, dude, Logan was fighting Dylan Dennis in his last fight. Like, to compare Dylan Dennis and Conor McGregor striking is like comparing, I don't know, me to Dylan Dennis in jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Nah, actually, no. I'm better at jiu-jitsu than Dylan Dennis is at striking, but whatever. You know what I'm saying, dude. But nonetheless, and then he fought KSI, and then he fought Floyd Mayweather, who is literally an ant person compared to Logan Paul. But nonetheless, I mean, I don't know. In all honesty, who cares who wins? The only reason I really want Conor to win is so he can come back to UFC and fight for real. Jeremiah, thank you very much, dude. Appreciate you. Dude, Play With Matches and Jesse on Fire are officially on all of the podcast platforms now. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that shit. But yeah, dude, I have a Diddy video dropping later today. Oh my God. I'll probably drop it at like half an hour after this, after I end this. Dude, it's a bunch of videos from Diddy, like leaked videos from behind the scenes with Diddy, like in home, like house parties. And dude, there's this one video of this guy at one of his parties, this white dude who's unconscious on one of the, like, literally, like not just unconscious, like dead unconscious, like, and Diddy's making fun of him, and you're like, oh geez, I wonder how that guy ended up that fucked up during the day. It's daytime, and this dude is just like flatlined, face down. You're all, something tells me that he drank something he was not supposed to, you know.